Hey, good day, tournament anglers. Welcome to the 2023 FM Walleyes Unlimited Big Cormorant Fall Classic Tournament. My name is Rick Mohan, and I will be your tournament director. I want to begin by recognizing the 2023 Classic Cup Tournament sponsors. I encourage you to support these sponsors with your business. If I have any luck here, I'm going to. Of course, Shields has been a long-time sponsor, and I know many of you folks support them. Most of you do. Also, Lund Boats. They provide us with the Classic Cup Championship Tournament boat. We have Jane Kim Marine with Vexus, TRS Industries, Kovash Marine, Moorhead Marine, Warrior Boats, Onyx, Eskimo, Striker, Chuck's Custom Rods, and Vision Bank. So again, I would encourage you folks to please support those sponsors that support our events. So going back now to the information. This is the online rules meeting for the Big Cormorant Fall Classic that will be held on Sunday, September 24th. At least one team member should view this video by 5 p.m. Saturday, September 23rd. You can hit like on Facebook, or you can just email me, and I appreciate all that, so we know that people have watched. Please note the complete set of tournament rules can be found on fmwalleyes.com. Under the tournaments tab. Each tournament has slightly different rules. None of the big ones. It's just about date and time and that stuff. But I will not cover all the rules on this video. It is incumbent upon you, tournament anglers, to know and follow the rules. So tournament anglers, we've had a long tradition of remembering and recognizing old friends and tournament competitors who are no longer with us. I would like to continue with that tradition with a short invocation. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the many blessings that you have provided us. We thank you for the amazing creation, your amazing creation, and the opportunity to pursue our fishing passions. We ask you to continue protection of our anglers and event staff. Please keep us safe as we travel to and from and on and off the water. We take this time in a moment of silence to remember our old tournament friends and anglers, whom you have called home to be with you. I take a moment. Amen. So, I want to roll into the some of the rules around the. Of course, the event is going to be at the Camp Cormorant at Big Cormorant, the YMC Camp Cormorant. So the camp will be open to tournament anglers beginning Thursday, September 21st. The cost to stay at the camp is $40 per person for the entire event. If you have not prepaid for camp with your entry, please seek out one of the event's staff and settle up. The main level of the newer two-story red cabin is reserved for event staff. The upper level is available to tournament anglers. It's a nice facility. The kitchen is available to tournament anglers. People that use the kitchen are required to wash and clean up utensils, dishes, work surfaces immediately after using these items. Last year went pretty well, but there's not always been the case. So please respect that, because if you guys don't do it, that means Rick has to, and then he's not happy. Do not park in the big meadow if the field is wet. I don't think that's going to be a problem. So some general comments. Coast Guard approved flotation devices must be worn when the boat is under power or on plane. You need to check for AIS when launching and loading your boat. No alcohol is allowed in your boat during tournament hours. Live and or artificial bait are permitted. Anglers must have a valid Minnesota fishing license. Anglers must follow all Minnesota fishing regulations. There is a 20-yard spacing minimum between competitor boats as stated in our rules. There may be, at no time may a competitor come alongside another boat during tournament hours. So guys, it's hard for us to enforce that rule because we're not always on the water. We have, patrol boats, but the best thing in that situation is just respectfully call out to someone that you think is crowding you and just respectfully ask them to back off. Point is that everyone knows lots of the spots on Big Cormorant, and if someone's there, find something else. Tournament patrol boats, sheriff patrol boats, and DNR boats are permitted to come alongside a competitor boat. Cell phone or radio use among competitors is not permitted. We have allowed anglers to bring along their cell phones for emergency use. We do reserve the right to inspect cell phone call logs of competitors while on the water. Anglers are permitted to call the tournament directors with questions or to request assistance. No fish are permitted in your live wells or boat. Please inform tournament staff if you see a floater. We will send a boat to recover that fish. Anglers must use a Judge brand ruler. Judge rulers are available from FM Walleyes. We have an inventory that'll be there on Saturday and Sunday. The cost is $40. This is an example of the older style Judge ruler. Ours has a FM Walleyes logo on it. That's not required. If you have a Judge ruler that is not branded FM Walleyes, that is perfectly appropriate, and that's fine. Also then that we request that, well, you're required to use a camera that accepts an SD card. And I'm going to go through that more in detail. So with regard to launching boats, boat inspection will begin at 7 a.m. Our previous two tournaments, we would start at 6, but of course the light is so low, that's not possible. So you get to sleep in a little bit. But at 7 a.m., DNR requires live wells to be empty before launching. Please wait for an FM Walleyes representative to inspect the boat before placing bait in your live well. Once that you've been inspected, you get the ribbon on the boat, then you can put your bait in. So flight times, all teams, you can pick up a scorecard, SD card, your packet. I'm going to go through that here in a minute. You can do that beginning at 7 a.m. at the Camp Cormorant dock. First flight boats released at 8 a.m. If there is a second flight boats are released at 8:30. First flight boats return by 4 p.m. If there is a second flight boats must return by 4:30 p.m. Boats are considered in if they are off plane and within 300 yards of the big Cormorant lodge, or the big Cormorant dock. I'm sorry. Boats start and finish the day at Camp Cormorant dock. Remote parking is available at the Camp Cormorant. As I mentioned, we're limited to not supposed to be taking more than 50% of the parking slots at either the north or the east ramp. And I think many anglers have come to appreciate the remote parking at Camp Cormorant, because you got to bring your cards back anyway, drop your guy off, or you come in the morning, get your cards, pick up your guy, your partner. There's bathrooms, there's coffee, all that stuff is there. So again, as I mentioned earlier, if it's wet, we want to stay off the big green meadow, but if it's not, fine. But there's a lot of parking up top as well. So I think that covers that. The awards presentation will be at Camp Cormorant somewhere between 5:30 and 6 p.m. So I just wanted to share that. I think many of you guys, if you've fished the tournament, you know you're going to get a packet. That's what we're going to hand out. This is an example of a packet from a leftover packet from Big Pine. And in that packet, there'll be a sheet with some of the details, my phone number, launch times, that kind of stuff. And then there will be a plastic bag there'll be a blue card. Well, this was blue. It won't be blue on this next tournament, but this is where you would score your fish. There's an SD card. That's what we're looking for here. This is a standard SD card. So your camera should fit this. As I mentioned, we do have a few micro SD cards. If that's what you have, we can accommodate that. You're not allowed to use your cell phones to take pictures. We do this to maintain the integrity of the tournament, because all of these discs or SD cards have been formatted. There's no data on them. And then there's a ribbon that you'd put on the judge ruler, which is the color of the day. Again, this one was for big pine. And then there's just a pen for you to score your card. So that's what's in that packet. You will pick that up at beginning at 7 o'clock that morning of Sunday morning, the 24th, and then you would return it by 4 o'clock at first light. So, guys, I'm going to publish a roster, a preliminary roster, here in the next day or so. I know there's some coming in, and there's more mail coming in. I'm doing this video on Sunday, the 17th, so we allow for the mail to catch up with us. The point being is that depending on the number of entries, we may have 1 or 2 flights, but I will let you know when I publish that roster, if it's 1 flight or 2. So look for that on social media. We'll let you know. I hate to speculate where we're going to come in. I would love to see us at 55 boats, and in that case, we would certainly have 2 flights. But I just don't know, and I've had a lot of contact with folks, so we'll see how that plays out. It looks to be a very nice weekend, and we might see some additional entries, but I will share that with you here early to midweek, so you'll know that. So the other thing then that I want to go through is reviewing and scoring. So this is a catch photo release format. So many of you know this really well, we'll have a short video here after this that you can see. But all fish must measure at least 15 inches. So that means the head must be against the bump board here, and that the tail must hit or pass the 15-inch line. So the way we work this is that you are allowed to round up to the next 1/4-inch mark of the index line the fish touches, so that the smallest fish that we will accept is 15 1/4. So if you were to catch a 15 7/8 and want to round up to 15, that fish isn't going to get counted. Fish length is determined by taking a photograph of the fish on the judge ruler. The fish must be oriented so that the head of the fish appears to be on the left side. We want to make sure we're seeing the left side of the fish. You can talk about there's an orientation thing, and we'll make accommodation for that. But the easiest way is to have the fish on the left side of the picture and the dorsal fin up. And then fingers placed inside the gills or mouth of the fish during the taking of a photograph will result in the disqualification of that fish. Please take care in taking your photos. You may take as many photos of fish as you wish. Please take a hero shot between fish to differentiate the fish caught. And there's been situations where guys are busy, they measure the fish, they throw it over, and they're like, oh, I forgot the hero shot. Just do this. It's just about making sure that we can differentiate between one fish caught and the next one. Too much direct sun can wash out photos so that the ruler's lines cannot be seen. If we cannot verify the fish length from the photo, that fish will be disqualified. So I'm going to take a minute here. Oh, come on. And I want to share some photos of what we're seeing. And I'm hoping that I can fill the screen up. There we go. So what we're looking at here is an example of a good photo of a fish. You'll see the nose or the mouth of the fish is against the bump board. The hands are not obstructing any view. They're not in the gills or the mouth. And we can clearly see where the tail of the fish references the index line. That's a good photo. This is a poor photo, mostly because the ruler is washed out. We just can't see their lines. And we try hard, but sometimes depending on what the sunlight conditions are, it's just washed out. We can't see it. Of course, this is an example because we can't see the head touching the ruler of the bump board. And then incorrect orientation and the ruler washed out. Again, we prefer it to be flipped around, but it is, I can tell that the fish is the left side, but the ruler is washed out. We can't see it. So generally speaking, guys, is if you have the fish oriented in this orientation, the guys taking the picture can throw his shadow over the top of it that allows for a much better picture. So, but this is an example though where the hands are in the gill. That's not allowed. And then this is an example where hands are in the mouth. Again, that's not allowed, and it would be a DQ. So that's kind of an example of photos as we see them. So please, at this point, we're going to share with you a short video segment that describes how we catch, record, release format for tournaments. The video was produced for our AYA tournaments, so there's some language that is a little different, but the rules and the concepts are all the same. So please pay attention to that video, and I'll join you in a moment.
Kyle Avery and Brenton Hell here of FM Walleyes. We are your Little Pine and Devil's Lake Angler Young Angler Tournament Directors. We want to talk a little bit today about the catch, record, release format. Brenton, let's just talk a little bit about leading up to the tournament and the day of the tournament, how we are prepared for that.
So what you're going to want to bring with you on the day of the tournament is your red judge ruler. That is the ruler that we do use as the official ruler for our AYA events. Bring your judge ruler. We do have some available for you to borrow or rent during the events, and we have some available for purchase as well. Also, you're going to want to prepare for the event by having a camera that will put the pictures onto a standard size SD card, not a micro card, but we need that a camera that will put the pictures onto a standard card. From there, the morning of the tournament, we're going to deliver a bag to you at the launch, and that bag is going to have your SD card for that day. It's going to have your scorecard and a colored ribbon. Now you're going to need that colored ribbon to be in your picture, which Kyle's going to talk about in a minute, and you're going to use that SD card to record your pictures during that tournament day. And if you do want to do some practicing with our SD cards the night before at the rules meeting, we're going to have those available, Kyle, so that you can bring your cameras out, make sure they work on the cards, and plan and prepare for the next day.
Yep, we want to be prepared the morning of the tournament. Once we get out on the water, hopefully we see our anglers catching a lot of fish, and that's what we want to do. The intention of this tournament and this tournament format is to get the fish landed and in the boat, to get them measured, recorded, and released as quickly as possible. So the process is going to look like this. That walleye will first be taken out of the net and unhooked. We're going to lay that out on the judge ruler. We want a photo of one of the team members holding that fish on the judge ruler. Now it's important that we can see the nose of that fish touching the bump on the bottom end of the ruler, and then also where we can see the tail in terms of getting an accurate measurement and verifying that measurement. You can take as many photos as you would like. Once you get one you're satisfied with, then what we're going to do is we're going to take a hero shot. That indicates to us as tournament directors that we have the end of one fish and we can look for a new fish after that. A hero shot is simply a shot with one of the team members, preferably one who caught the fish, holding that fish. Once we get the hero shot, we immediately release that fish into the water, and hopefully that process is done as quickly as we possibly can. Once the fish is released, then we go into our scorecard, and we're going to write down the score, meaning the length of that fish, remembering that if the length touches a line, let's say it's 16 inch walleye, it touches a 16-inch line, we're going to record 1/4 inch above. So if it touches 16 inches, we're going to record that fish as 16 1/4. And we record it on our card at that point in time, and then we can go resume fishing.
At the end of the day, you're going to have hopefully a full scorecard, Kyle, of all the fish that you had enjoyed catching during the day. We need you to circle the amount of fish that we're weighing for that tournament. We need you to circle the ones you want us to weigh to factor into your weight for the day, and we need you to make sure that the angler's name who caught those fish is next to that measurement, because remember, we do give out a special prize to the largest fish caught by a boy and the largest fish caught by a girl at our tournament. So we want to make sure that we know who to celebrate with those big catches for the day. And of course, if our adult angler catches one of the fish that we're going to weigh for that day, we still want that name on there too, so that we can use it for our results verification.
It's a fun way to do a tournament. It lets us to score all of the big fish we catch during the day, really in avoiding our slot limitations if we were to bring the fish into the boat and bring them up to a scale. It's important to remember, Brenton, one of the things we want to make sure our teams are aware of is that at no time are we allowed to put a walleye into a live well into our boat. Our our live wells need to be clean the entire day while we're out on the water. And as you are demonstrating, all of our participants need to be wearing their life preservers while they're out on the water participating in the AYA tournament. We wish everybody the best of luck. Look forward to seeing you there at the next AYA event.
That's all we have for now. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. As previously stated, we will be using Camp Cormorant as tournament HQ. The event trailer will be there. The awards ceremony and presentation of prizes will be there. As I mentioned, we're shooting between 5:30 and 6. I think we'll have a tighter process. It got a little long on us last year. I apologize for that. But and I would encourage all the anglers that can make it, please do there. Your buddies are going to be there. You're going to want to chat with them anyway. So with that, I want to say I look forward to seeing everyone on Sunday, and be safe. Thanks.